Welcome to Postcards from Provence and part 4 of our 1200-kilometre cycle ride from Devon back to the south of France. After a glorious afternoon in Angouleme and the rugby, which was fantastic, we set off again the next morning, pedalling out of the town, and it was uphill. The roads though were really quiet, and some of them so straight it was like being on a little roller coaster. We kept going up. The sky kept getting darker. But we pedalled on quite happily, just enjoying the scenery as we headed into the Dordogne. Some sights though stopped us in our tracks, such as this incredible chateau, known as the Bastide the Chateau de la Mercerie. All we could do was stop and stare. It was built or extended by two brothers into the 1970s with a 220-metre facade. Incredible! But we had to leave it and pedalled on, in and out of rain showers, before finding the most gorgeous cat to say hello to. In fact, it was so gorgeous, we both had to say hello, and he was very happy. But then the rain started, we put on our clothes while stood by the legendary fountain, like many fountains across France with magical powers, and a lot of fables attached to it. But the water was incredibly clear. We stopped in a village for breakfast, and another just to listen to the bells. Before heading on again towards our evening stop at Mussidan. It was a lovely ride through, although to be honest, we were getting tired. We stopped in this small town for lunch and then pedalled on into the afternoon. Happily, the sun came out and this light dappling through was beautiful. Finally, we arrived in Mussidan for a day off, which was much needed. We started the day with coffee before heading out for a walk, leaving the bikes behind for the day. A stormy day, but walking through the woodlands was just lovely and just what we needed. It's a fascinating town with a tragic history attached to World War II, but definitely worth exploring. As we arrived back, the heavens opened again. But the next morning, we started with porridge and set off with blue skies showing. We pedalled off into the Dordogne villages with beautiful roofs and pretty churches. Saying hello to the horses. Because of the changing weather and the constant threat of storms which were really raging in the area, our plans had changed. So instead of heading towards Bergerac, we were going towards Saite Foy La Grande and taking a different route down towards Bordeaux. It was a shame, but actually this was still a very beautiful ride. And the bracken was golden and bright orange as we cycled through the woodlands. Our plans may have had to have changed, but the riding certainly hadn't. It was still absolutely glorious. We passed beautiful houses, huge fishing lakes, which seems to be a big business in this area. Heading towards the Dordogne. Which we crossed and then took the quiet roads through along the riverside, passing through vineyards, more incredible houses, and just enjoying the peace of these quiet roads. We stopped by the river, admiring the view, and then pottered into Saite Foy La Grande, where we sat by the river and had some lunch, watching the storm that was coming. We thought it was passing away to one side, but unfortunately not, and we took shelter whilst it absolutely poured down. It was bouncing waist high off the pavements, but we were dry under the arches, and then pottered on. The sun came out, we stopped for a train, and carried on back into the countryside, through the vineyards, the storm that had passed us off to one side now. It was as if it had never happened. The roads were dry, and it was a beautiful afternoon. As we made our way through to the next stop at Duras, a pretty little village on a hilltop with a beautiful little castle. With the weather closing in, we decided to stay here for a couple of nights and just enjoyed riding whilst the sun shone. The first ride was out to Eymet, stopping at a place we'd visited 2 years ago on our ride down to Provence. Saying hello to the cows and stopping in this incredibly pretty place. For a second breakfast, of course. We sat in the cafe and watched the world pass by, quite amazed at the amount of English being spoken. We pedalled out under the bunting, and watched the birds starting to fly south. We seemed to be chasing them down the country. It was a lovely ride through. This grain store was amazing, and we just enjoyed pottering through the countryside. A really lovely area to cycle around, even though we weren't expecting to be there. More signs of autumn with cyclamen. In the afternoon we spent walking, just exploring the tracks around the village. Grapes definitely ready for harvest, and then the next day another ride. We chased our shadows, passing through huge hazelnut groves. And plum orchards, a real sign of the area. It was a beautiful ride with incredible views. We were in no hurry, so we could just enjoy them. We were right thinking that the harvest was just about to start. As we pedalled towards Marmande, we found the first signs of it. A little family domain starting their harvest. We stopped for second breakfast in Marmande and then pedalled back, passing through vast areas of sunflower fields that would have been glorious just a few weeks ago. We stopped to chat to the donkeys before pottering on again and stopping for some figs. They were utterly delicious. An evening walk around Duras, a last look at the castle, and then we'll be on again tomorrow for the final step towards Bordeaux, and then a train before heading to Aix and home. Thanks for following. We hope you enjoy travelling with us.